I'm following the daily routines of 4 renowned creative geniuses.
I don't like getting wet, but now I'm wet and a little bit sleepy.
In hopes that some of their greatness will rub off on me.
I feel terrible.
And I know what you're thinking. Katria, these are some of history's most celebrated minds. You'll never compare to them. Katria, you're writing for a lowly dating sim about honeybees. Honestly, that's kind of furry adjacent, Katria. It's a little concerning. Bees aren't sexy, Katria. You can't make bees sexy. You can't make me fall in love with a bee. And I beg to differ. I'm on a journey to become the best video game writer that I can be. Believe it! And that means writing the stories for this dating sim so hard that you do, in fact, fall in love with these bees.
Wow, you're gorgeous.
But to be the best, I have to learn from the best. It's time to find out which creative routine will lead me to the top. We begin our journey with Robert Louis Stephenson, 19th century hippie with long hair and an unorthodox way of viewing the world. Stevenson spent most of his childhood in and out of school due to sickness, and he remained quite sickly through adulthood. He was a renowned children's author during his lifetime, but one of his most notorious works caused quite a stir because of the rumored routine associated with it. He wrote the first draft of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde over the course of a 6-day coke binge. Or that's what the rumors say anyway. It's possible that he was just sick with fever, and the only cure was more coke. No, but like legitimately, he had a doctor prescribing him medications derived from cocaine, cannabis, and alcohol. No one would sell me the real thing, so we had to make some adjustments. Should I drink it off? I'm on a coke binge. I'm gonna drink it all. It's so hard to drink. The carbonation, I'm trying not to burp on the burp. I swallowed the burp. Excuse me. When it was finally published, his story caused a scandal amongst the parents of his young readers. He was a children's writer, and his novel was perceived as far too graphic for young minds. Some sources say that his wife was so horrified by his initial creation that she burned it. Others say that he burned it himself because his wife hated it so much. I don't have a wife, so we're gonna leave that part of the routine out.
So you just finished a crazy coke binge.
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go?
It's been 3 hours. I got 950 words in 3 hours.
Oh,
I got 2.5 stories completed within that 3 hours. I am down 3.5 cokes. I feel terrible. My pee was very clear, which is surprising because I thought that it would be brown. Because like, you know how in the movies they be like, you don't drink water. Maybe Coke is a little bit more hydrating than we previously thought. The scientists.
Don't you say that to a doctor. I need everyone to know that for the first hour or two, she was just in here singing nonstop. And then for like 30 minutes after that, she was talking to herself loudly periodically.
There might be something just said about just like zeroing in and like choosing like this is the time that I'm gonna work. I'm just gonna kind of like hash this out. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm not gonna look at anything else. If I kept going, I probably would have exceeded. If I went for another hour, I probably would have exceeded my actual word count limit. But I don't think that this is sustainable. I don't think that my pee would stay clear.
Thomas Wolfe began his career writing for theater, but dealt with constant rejection because of his lengthy scripts. He found a place that was better suited for his style, fiction, and stuck with that. Wolfe bankrolled his career with the financial assistance of a wealthy, married sugar mama. During their relationship, he wrote his most famous novel, Look Homeward, Angel. With uncomfortable honesty, he would recount his routine to his editor through letters. There's no way to sugarcoat this, folks. He wrote while fully butt naked. Booty cheek hair flowing in the wind. He would start writing right around midnight with copious amounts of coffee. And he was tall, like really tall. Standing at 6'6", normal tables were a little too small or uncomfortable for his large frame, so he used the refrigerator as a standing desk. He'd stand atop the fridge and write until the sun came up. And he, can I say this? He did this often while playing with himself. I mean, I'm not gonna do, like I can't, right? I don't have a... He once wrote to his editor that he was having a terrible writer's block, so he decided to strip down and get ready for bed, but was reinvigorated and able to write anew once he paused to think while fondling his limp and unaroused member. He found the good male feeling to stimulate his creative juices. It was around 700-ish words. This thing is so fun. It's a little bit more fun playing with it while you're sitting down because you can just kind of like endlessly, as opposed to like when I'm standing up, it's gonna fall out of my hands. But it is really fun to play with, and I used it a lot while I was like thinking through things, like when I was taking a pause and that, or like I had I'm not really sure how this person would say this, or I need to like think this through a little bit longer. This was really helpful. I can't imagine being naked doing this because I was like so cold, and then I kept putting my jacket on, and then I kept getting hot and taking my jacket off and getting cold. I just want to wear a t-shirt. I don't want to be naked. I don't know what that guy's on about. The all-nighters, I can't do them like I used to. And again, these are things that I used to be able to do in grad school. I'm getting old. I can't do this anymore. It's so hard. If you've made it this far, my name is Katria, and this is James. We're video game developers working on 2 games. Hive and Hollow is an adventure exploration game where you get to manage an entire hive of bees. Meant to Be is a honeybee dating sim, and actually a spin-off of Hive and Hollow. I'm actually doing the writing for it throughout this video. If you're interested in games like these, consider subscribing or joining our Patreon to support our journey. Now back to the video. In our more modern era, even if you're not an avid reader, you probably have heard of Stephen King. You've probably even seen a few films based on his books. Heck, my dog's named after one of his characters. Dubbed the King of Horror, King has had the start every writer wishes they could have. He began his career teaching English, and then after the success of his debut novel, Carrie, he began writing full-time. His books come by a consistent routine and a lot of discipline. He wakes up, eats breakfast, walks 3.5 miles, and then sits down.
Well, my alarm went off at 5:40 so that I could slowly work myself up to waking up at 6. I cooked myself an omelet for breakfast. I had to let the dogs out and give them the dog tax because I was awake. They thought it was time to eat, so I gave them both treats. Not sure exactly if it was 3.5 miles, but like I walked for an hour.
He reads the last thing that he wrote that he liked to get his head in the game, and then he starts writing at around 8. He usually writes for around 2 hours and does a bit of editing, finishing anywhere from between 11:30 and 1:30. He says that consistency is the key here, and the results are downright scary. Get it? Scary because he writes so much it's scary, and he is a horror writer, and he writes stuff that is scary. Okay. Stephen King writes every day, and he always writes 2,000 words. Or at least he did in the beginning of his career. He doesn't take a day off, not even for his birthday.
Okay, let me put my Stephen King glasses back on. Hold on. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I reached it. I got 2,272 words today, which feels really good. Again, I think I average around like 1,000 per day. So I took at least 6,400 steps this morning, which felt really nice. One of the things when we first started doing this, I told James, I'm deprioritizing the gym. I'm deprioritizing working out. Like, I'm just focusing on this because I want to get it done, and I want to get it done quickly. And every other thing kind of feels like it's distracting me from getting my work done.
I'm bored when I brush my teeth and wipe my ass.
But I guess this has kind of opened my eyes to remind me that you're trying to get down. This has kind of opened my eyes up to remind me like, hey, your health is important, your body is important. It's good to take care of, you know, other things other than just working.
K-R-A-B-B-Y-P-A-T-T-Y says I.
Just strange because Stephen King is known for his work ethic. A little bit different from Stephen King. I'm not writing a novel. It's a dating sim, so I'm having to not just think through one way of going about a conversation, but like another way of going about a conversation while still not making that dialogue tree branch out too far. If I were writing a novel, this would be a little bit easier. I would probably be able to finish a little quicker, but I want the story to be fun and I want people to have a lot of different options to choose from. It's, you know, it's 2:05, so I get to just like do whatever for the rest of the day. I'm probably gonna take a nap because waking up at 6 was, you asked to get down. Are you trying to get back up? Go on. Oh, you gotta go out. Okay. All right, hold on.
Ludwig van Beethoven was apparently bad at math, but he was good at music and getting the ladies. I don't know that for sure. Beethoven's father put him through dance mom's levels of childhood stress.
What front aerial, honey? Right here. Please, you need to stay stretched.
During his first public performance, his father told everyone that Beethoven was 6 instead of 7 just to get more clout. Beethoven's early young adult career was spent trying to fill the gap left by Mozart because he thought that that's what the public wanted from him. Soon after, however, he began developing his own style through his own creative routine. Hear me out here. I know that he was a composer, but that's just a fancy way of saying writer in music speak. Beethoven would count out exactly 60 coffee beans to make his coffee with. And once he was sufficiently caffeinated and ready to begin his creative ventures, he would pour water over himself to get the creative juices flowing.
I don't want to give anybody any foot shots, but I feel like it's going to be weird if I leave my socks on.
I'm not joking. He poured water over himself while singing loudly in the middle of his apartment, and it leaked through the floors. And this presumably gave him composing superpowers, allowing him to write for hours on end. He would rush back to his piano, still dripping wet, to get the ideas down before losing them. I only did this for an hour and a half because I have a meeting in a little bit, but I got 955 words. So maybe I should be dumping water on my head more often. I don't like getting wet, but now I'm wet and a little bit sleepy, and I don't want to be wet anymore. And the fact that he would do this multiple times a day is, I think, the most... Why are we doing this? If you are in a state of monotony, I could see this being something to spice up the writing day. As far as it being a regular routine, I don't know about that one. I did really like the coffee. Surprisingly, the toilet is a really nice place to sit and work. I feel very supported by this. He didn't sit on his toilet, he did this in his living room. We have a security deposit to get back. I already sing while I work. I don't sing in German. Maybe I should learn German. Maybe I just need to start the day with a shower. Maybe Beethoven just needed to take a shower. Maybe they were dirty back then and they didn't shower regularly, and he was like, ooh, why do I feel so gross? Because you're covered in germs. I don't know, maybe I'll work in the bathroom every now and then. This is very bright in here. All of the walls are white and the light's bright. The toilet's very tall and supportive, and I feel is the right ratio for my femur to torso ratio. I've completed these routines with varying degrees of success, and I feel closer than ever to achieving my goal of becoming one of the greats in the realm of video game writing. But where do these routines rank for me personally? Robert Louis Stevenson's routine lands in the D tier for me. Being high on drugs, caffeine, which is a drug, just made me feel on edge and impatient, and I would prefer to enjoy the writing process instead of writing like I'm running out of time, which is probably what Stevenson was doing when he was high on coke on what he probably thought was his deathbed. Wolfe lands in the C tier for me. I don't like standing for long periods of time. I think a sweet spot would have been a little time sitting, a little time standing, and it was also just way too cold to be in the nude. I can't personally do the midnight thing right now with a day job, but I understand the thought process of working at a time when no one else is awake to bother you, so bonus points for that. Also, the introduction of the water wiggler in my life as a fidget toy boosts this up quite a few levels. This one's obviously in the S tier, but Stephen King's routine is stable, achievable, repeatable. It hits the hierarchy of needs while giving you a specific goal to work towards. I know a lot of us creatives think that we have to be little gremlins that come out at night and only work on one thing and focus on nothing else in their lives, but it is important to take care of yourself so that you're actually around to produce your art and you can be your best self while you're producing that art. Beethoven's routine was a unique one. I did like the way a pitcher of water feels being poured over the head more than like the tick of like the shower head. It did feel nice. Also introduced me to grinding my own coffee, which is better than instant. But what the heck am I supposed to be doing sitting around in wet clothes for the rest of the day? Yeah, that one's C tier. What do you think? Would you try any of these routines? Are there any routines that you think that I would like? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to follow our journey making this dating sim or our other adventure exploration game, Hive and Hollow, go ahead and subscribe. You can also join our Patreon to support goofy long-form videos like the one you just watched. Special thanks to our patrons, Justin Dunniz, Johnny the Rooks with the spaces, and J&K Sugar Mama. Thanks for watching everyone, and have a great day.